Igbo Queen. Yeah. Maybe this judgment is not really against Nnamdi Kanu, right? Maybe this judgment is, for Nnamdi Kanu to actually establish one truth, not really about Nigerians, but about the very place he came from, the Igbos. See, sometimes it takes one person for God to use to expose that very truth, especially when he wants to liberate a people. Use very one person to expose a particular truth or to cause chaos in a particular land for that very truth that has been hidden for long to be seen by the public in the barest form, in the way you can't actually deny. Maybe this is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu has been in the prison without him even knowing. He believed that he's fighting for a cause for, not against the people in the Igbos. He believed so much, and the belief he had was so much that he had to risk his life. Even at some point, Nnamdi Kanu went out of the way against the government. You know why? Because he believed he was actually doing this for the Igbos. See, only the Igbo people will understand. When you see somebody who is actually doing something for a place of, he has a crowd, compared to when he's actually doing it alone, that is the kind of effort, the love, the passion, and everything that made Nnamdi Kanu to be at this level today, without knowing that he didn't solve a particular thing that he needed to solve or anybody needed to understand about the Igbos. And God used him to establish that fact, because this is a fact, that what happened, that Igbos are not in unity. I keep saying this for a long time. You see this thing that happened? Igbos are not in unity. This thing that happened just showed how empty, E-M-P-T-Y, empty Igboland is. And for long, it has been for long. All we do is shout and shout. You see, if this thing happened, if death sentence is actually compared or brought into the court over Nnamdi Kanu's head, where we have a lot of Igbos scattered all over the country, scattered all over the world, it shows how empty we are, that they know they fear us again. See, you see fear? They know they fear any Igbo man. And who caused this? Because they've actually seen the rot of our brothers, the heart of our brothers. You see, nobody keep data like government. They have your data through tax. They are your God. So by the virtue of being your God, they know what you actually need and what you want. But what I'm trying to say is that how we've actually lost our souls in the process of making money, that we can betray our own. We don't care. We are so selfish in our thoughts. We don't care. You see this real life imprisonment handed to Nnamdi Kanu, right? It is not a judgment. It is a mirror. A mirror that shows us our cracks, our betrayals, our political emptiness, and our loud but hollow pride. For years, Igbos have been politically sidelined. That is an obvious fact. Very well established, which was why Nnamdi Kanu in the first place rose, thinking that he was fighting for the Igbos. Igbos have cried about power. They've talked about it. What many of us don't admit is that the greatest weapon used against us is not the government, it's our disunity. And the system knows this. I keep saying that the system knows this. The system studies us. They know who to call at midnight. They know the person that will collect something small to betray or sell out a whole generation in this Igboland. But they know the men who can actually come crawling behind the scenes, betraying their own people. This is why things like this can happen to us, because they know that we are no voice, we have no one voice. They know no single man or institution that can threaten them or threaten the status quo. They know our strongest men are not statesmen, just businessmen. When they had to bring death penalty very close, consider it in the first place, that was when I knew, say, these people know they fear us at all. For a man who did not pick up a gun, for a man out of frustration and anger, from decades of marginalization, raised his voice louder that the system could tolerate. Was he perfect? No. Did his words sometimes ignite emotions that created tension? Yes, Nnamdi Kanu did. But let us not pretend though. He did not commit atrocities they pinned on him personally. He was a symbol. Nnamdi was a symbol, a voice, a megaphone. It's obvious that justice in Nigeria bends to those with power, with unity and a foundation. That is what the Igbos lack. Exactly. And that is exactly why I've been saying this. Until we get that unity, we're not fighting for anything. It's very sad that one man will lose his family, will lose a lot, and will still try to lose his life in prison because of Igbos that know the problem they have, which is disunity. It is very sad that this man will do this on behalf of this very, because he believed so much in the Igbos in the first place. He believed so much in the Igbo in the first place, and he knows the people that betrayed him. If you want to compare, There are men in this very country who have said worse things. Do we start mentioning them in the South? I mean, they fear them. They've said things openly calling for violence, openly inciting chaos. Men who did not do so out of frustration for their people, but out of political madness. Yet they walk freely. Why? Because they have their protection. They have their godfathers. They have their institutions behind them. They have power. Tompolo them know they. Tompolo themselves in name na government. We only have noise. We only have ego. We only have money. We have a lot of billionaires scattered everywhere. That's why we make noise. And you see that money without structure is nothing. But noise. No power, nothing. People have no political men in the political sense of the word. We have billionaires, just that. But we do not have power brokers. We have wealthy men, but we do not have protectors. We have businessmen, but we lack statesmen. We are the voices that will speak for us in times like this. Even there was a time when Nnamdi Kanu, his voice could calm a nation. Michael Okpara them, Chubo Kadibo, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu them. Today, who speaks for us? Peter Obi came out the other day. Half of Igbos did not vote for Peter Obi for the very first time. For the very first time, an Igbo man conquered through. How does grace of God work in the first one? They clamor say, we need somebody for the very first time. How? He man, the kind of grace that followed, to tell you that was grace. Peter Obi came with a grace to handle that very thing. If not for disunity of the Igbos, a lot of people still took their madness and still went and voted for the other people simply because they were bought. Until we understand that, I see this pressure of being billionaires in the Igbos, we want to be that pressure, and until we understand that it's killing us individually, we won't get the picture right. Look at how the governors are moving to other political parties, not thinking of building their own from scratch or structure. The one that came with Peter Obi, they killed it. Many people that came from nothing, people who were actually into poultry, a lot of farming, that took the bought the Labour Party ticket, are now in Abuja. Isn't that a message enough that Peter Obi is grace enough to lift the Igbos? If you count Igbos everywhere in this Nigeria and every corner of the world, it is enough to conquer. That solidarity is all we need. We don't need money. Many people do not know the fear, the command, the authority. A single institution that is backed by one voice can command. We don't know. We always think it's all about money. At the end of the day, what that money don't do us? We just have scattered billionaires here and there. One Fulani person is enough to buy 100 billionaires in this. What am I even saying? 1,000 of them. I knew this will happen because who will speak for him? Who? And this will not be the last. Mark my words. It will never be the last until that structure, that unity, something is done to that unity. Something, as in the Igbo people have a different orientation of what politics is all about. Until they understand and start seeing long term rather than seeing short time in everything, humiliation will keep coming our way politically.